Moving on to our next story, KHDA released a list of updated COVID-19 protocols for private schools. Now, the Knowledge and Human Development Authority, KHDA, have released an updated list of changes in protocols for January 2022 onwards now for the semester on its website for private schools. And the detailed update mentions that all trips, events, PE lessons, extracurricular activities, and internal gatherings such as assemblies and performances must be put on hold for the next 2 weeks. Now, adding that any and all updates on the same will be shared as quickly as possible. Now, if you are wondering what happens if students have COVID symptoms, now students who have COVID symptoms must not go to school. Instead, schools must give students showing any and all COVID symptoms the option of distance remote learning. Now, students may return to school when they no longer show any symptoms, and a PCR test is not required for them to get back to school.
That's interesting. And also, what happens if students or staff are identified as close contacts? So if you are identified as a close contact by the school's health and safety officer, you must quarantine for 7 days. Students must be given the option in that case as well of distance learning. A PCR test is not required for close contacts to return to school unless they develop COVID symptoms. So this is really beneficial information for all students, teachers, parents. Household members of the close contact do not need to self-isolate unless the close contact develops COVID-19 symptoms.
So, I mean, I didn't know this. Like, it's so interesting that it's not a mandatory for students to get PCR tests. And that too, knowing that the variant is, I mean, before it's like if you had any contact whatsoever, you isolate, you get yourself tested. But now we know it's not as, I mean, it is contagious, but not everyone catches it. So the fact that they're like, no, we still want our students back on campus, we want them learning, the PCR test, like only if they show symptoms, which should be the case now. Like this, as we move on with
it's
the
progression,
virus,
right?
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
We were doing something for a certain amount of time, and I think they re-looked at the situation. There's probably a lot of pressure on testing centres at the moment because of the number of people getting tested, but was it needed? So now they've reduced the need for a number of tests when it probably wasn't as necessary.
Exactly. And if you guys want more information on this, they have a full detailed FAQ set up on their website at the KHDA website. So just get on there and you can check everything. And they talk about testings, they talk about buses, distance learning, COVID-19 vaccinations, and how long the updates will last for. And are face masks still necessary? They still are. They're still mandatory, of course. And it's all these changes are done in line with health and safety protocols for your utmost safety.
Back to school. That was a cool shiver. Okay.